So, tonight we're diving into a battle that's probably all too familiar for a lot of you. It's that nightly struggle between chasing a grade and getting some actual sleep. Let's get right into it. You know the scene. It's 3 in the morning, the only light in the room is your screen, and that deadline is just a few hours away. Yeah, we've all been there. It's basically a rite of passage for anyone in a tough field like computer science. And here's the most frustrating part. It's not that you don't get the concept. You probably do. The real pressure, the thing keeping you awake, is the need for that letter grade. It's that outside validation that somehow starts to feel like it defines your entire skill set. And that really brings us to the heart of the matter. Is that grade you're sacrificing everything for actually a good measure of your skill, or are we confusing two completely different things? Okay, let's break this down. On the left, you've got what grades are really good at measuring. Can you perform on a specific schedule? Can you follow the rubric to a T? But look at the right side. That's what being a real engineer requires. Thinking on your feet, adapting to problems you've never seen before, and having a genuine, deep understanding, none of which fits neatly on a report card. So, okay, you make the trade. You sacrifice sleep to get the grade, because it feels like you have to. But what is that all-nighter actually doing to your brain's ability to code? Let's, actually look at the science here. This part is so important. When you pull an all-nighter, your working memory literally shrinks. It's like trying to code with half your RAM disabled. You just can't hold as many variables in your head. Your pattern recognition, which is critical for debugging, slows way down. And maybe worst of all, your brain starts to autocorrect. It shows you the code you think you wrote, not the code that's actually there. That's how you miss that one semicolon for 3 hours straight. And if you need a gut check, here it is. Being awake for just 17 to 19 hours straight impairs your cognitive performance as much as being moderately drunk. So think about that. You would never sit down to write a complex algorithm after a few beers, right? But that's essentially what you're doing every time you pull an all-nighter. So if it's so clearly bad for us, why does everybody keep doing it? Well, it's because we get stuck. We get trapped in this really powerful psychological cycle. Let's actually map out what this academic validation loop looks like. It doesn't happen all at once. It starts with one tough project, one midterm, and then that all-nighter becomes your strategy. And before you know it, it's part of your identity. You're the person who grinds. Let's walk through it. An assignment drops and your anxiety spikes. You procrastinate, telling yourself, oh, I just work better under pressure. Then comes the all-nighter, fueled by adrenaline. You finally submit it, and you just feel relief, not pride. Just, I survived. But then the decent grade comes back. And that's the kicker. Your brain rewards that whole terrible process. And the lesson it learns is, see, it worked. To really see how this plays out, let's invent a pretty typical student. We'll call her Priya. She's smart, she's driven, and her course load is, well, insane. So midterm season hits. Priya pulls 3 all-nighters in 1 week. And you know what? Her grades come back, and they're not bad. A B+, a B, she gets a good grade on a project. On paper, it looks like a total success. The strategy paid off. But here's the hidden cost, the part no one sees. 2 weeks later, if you ask Priya about her operating systems exam, she can barely remember what was on it. The knowledge was never stored in long-term memory. She just crammed and dumped. This means when those same concepts come up again next semester, she's basically starting from scratch. That grade created a huge learning debt. Priya's story is so common, and it shows the real danger of the cycle. You're not actually learning, you're just borrowing knowledge. So how do you break out of it? How do you build skills that actually last? This isn't about working less. It's about working smarter. So here's a better way. Number 1, start early. The real reason to start early isn't just to get it done, it's to give yourself time to be confused and then recover. Second, when you get stuck, seriously, sleep on it. Your brain literally rehearses difficult problems while you sleep. Third, you have to reframe what confusion is. It's not a sign of failure. It's the exact moment learning is actually happening. And finally, your goal should be understanding, not just familiarity. And this difference is absolutely everything. Cramming gives you familiarity. You look at a problem and think, yeah, I've seen this before. But real skill is understanding. That's when you can look at it and say, I could explain how and why this works to a total beginner. That's the skill that gets you through a job interview. So when you boil it all down, it's really about a fundamental shift in perspective. It's about stop playing for the next quiz and start playing the long game for your entire career. Look, The appeal of that academic validation is that it's fast. You get the grade, you get that little hit of dopamine, but it's temporary. Real skill, that's a long-term investment. It's the thing that compounds over years and pays off long after anyone cares about your GPA. And that really leaves us with this final thought. We have to completely change how we think about rest. Sleep isn't procrastinating. It's not a weakness. Your REM cycle, that deep restorative sleep where your brain is consolidating everything you learned, it isn't some luxury you get after the work is done. It is the work.